Hello, and welcome to today's podcast, Behind the Numbers, the podcast that seeks the thought leaders and personalities in the technology industry. So before I jump into our very special guest today, I'd like to remind you that today's podcast is brought to you by Kinetic Core AI. Kinetic Core AI are a firm that help technology and accounting firms grow their revenues within 12 months. So if you're interested in a free growth consultancy, drop the word grow into the DMs and we can take it from there. So I'm really pleased to have a special guest on today's show. It's Filip Kubala, based in Krakow in Poland. So he is the CEO of They.dev, and they specialize in delivering technology solutions, web design applications for firms. Have over, in their 8-year career span, have over 50 projects to their names and numerous satisfied customers. So really excited to delve into the world of They.dev today and understand a little bit about Filip's background, journey thus far into technology and what the future holds. So Filip, really great to have you on the show today.
Great. Thanks for having me.
No, absolute pleasure. Yeah, let's take a few steps back then into the dim and distant past. Tell us a little about your background, your history, where you studied, and sort of take us on a bit of a journey where we've come to up to this point today.
Sure. Yeah, so actually my story with informatics/technology starts in Krakow. So I studied applied informatics on University of Science and Technology in there. Yeah, I've got like bachelor and master degree in this field. And after my study, I actually moved to London for a couple of months where I was a Java developer. Actually, I started to work in Krakow as a Java developer too. Or actually a web developer at the very beginning. Yeah, started with WordPress like long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But like since I kind of discovered Java, I really liked it and I get into this field. Yeah, so worked a couple of months in London. That's actually where we started the company, They.dev. Then there was like just th-ey at the beginning. And yeah, like with time, I just moved back from London to Poland, start to live here and work remotely with my business partner. Actually, we started to freelance at the very beginning and just, grab project by project. And at some point, there was more clients than we could serve by just two of us. So we started to hire people. And at some point, we just appeared to have a company. So yeah, so that's a kind of backstory of how it started.
Okay, that's great. So would you say like the sort of growth was quite opportunistic then? It wasn't you set out to have this company that is today, you just got too much work and then it just evolved and grew organically through that?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, actually, just at the very beginning, we were just going like from client to client, from project to project, just delivering the work, apparently good work,
Yeah.
as it turned out.
Yeah.
And yeah, like there was just, recommendations. Clients like what we done, and they just recommend us from one to the other. And yeah, and like the projects just came. We didn't thought too much about it. We were just having fun building it. And yeah, and like with time, the company grown a little bit from just two people. Right now we are around 25, so it is a big step for us going forward. So yeah, so that's how it started. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So you've grown quite a lot then over the number of years. So are you predominantly a Polish-based organization?
So it depends because like we started the company being in London, so we've like first headquarters was in there, and we've got LTD company in there. With time, I moved out from London and started to work remotely. Since then, we were hiring everyone remotely. To be honest, before the COVID and before it was fancy, we were all having people working remotely. Yeah, with time, actually, my business partner also come back to Poland. And yeah, like we work remotely from day one. And at the moment, we have two entities, one in London, one in Poland, Krakow. But yeah, like most of the people and most of our employees are from Poland.
And so tell me a little bit how your roles had to change, right? So I'm assuming at the beginning you were very hands-on in terms of delivering code solutions for clients. Now that you've grown to such a point, is that less, do you do less of that and you're more in the sort of keeping the organization, looking for clients, looking for work, making sure the organization runs, making sure payroll's paid, all those sort of things? Is your role changed a lot?
Yeah, like I would say totally. At the beginning, I was just a developer. Maybe that The difference from like average developer was that we were just two of us building full products. So we had to learn a lot around, full stack development, talking to the client, gathering requirements, etc., which was pure fun, to be honest. And like we really enjoyed doing this. So yeah, I actually moved from this, from being a developer. At some point we set up a website. After I think like 1 year or something, it turned out that we are a real company, so probably we need a website. And like clients were always most important for us, so it took some time, but yeah, we created a website. And slightly I was moving more into being into marketing, into sales, and actually, managing the company, managing a bit more projects than just being involved in one of them, not just being a developer, but also managing people, hiring people. So like typical founder role at the very beginning of the company. And right now, I'm totally into sales and marketing. I also took over the CEO role in the company. So I'm a bit into everything, but my main focus is around sales.
So is that, would you say, a big focus for you as an organization then over the next, if we were to look at the next 18 months for you, is that a key growth driver for you? Is it more clients?
Yes, that's correct. Although the business model that we started with, so basically providing software developers and development built by the hour and just deliver the work, I would say because of AI, it is changing a bit. Not a bit, it is hugely changing. So we are trying to foresee where the market will go, like what kind of services clients will look for, and adapt to this. So of course, this is still our core of what we do and the core of our revenue, but we also look at different perspectives. So we also introduce new services around the development. We also provide different monetization models. So how we set up the contracts with the clients. And also we are testing different approach to the products development, trying to release some of our internal products into market. So like a lot of testing at the moment.
Yeah. So you're effectively generating IP. So is that basically based on the clients that you've had today, the problems that you solve for them, you're trying to build something that is your own IP that you can sell into the market, therefore that delivers that?
So this is one approach that we took. So we are getting into kind of open source CRM that will allow us to start with a kind of boilerplate for a lot of what we do, because historically we've done a lot of startups, but part of any startup or SaaS platform is of course the admin panel, manage customers, like security, authentication, etc. So a kind of boring part, not that custom. So we are getting into project where hopefully like most of this boring part will be taken from us. So that's one of the approaches, and this came from the perspective that we had to charge quite a lot for this boring part if we were building it custom, and clients don't really want to pay for it. So
Yeah.
we are kind of addressing this work. So this is one approach that we take. Second one, because we work remotely and our internal company knowledge is split across multiple tools, so like Slack, Jira, Notion, some Google Drives, etc. We built internal tool for surging through all of it, and we call it They Know It. At the moment, this is just an agent living in our Slack because this is a core of our communication, but it allows us to search through all the knowledge types, I would say, and all the historical messages. It basically allow us to search across everything and give like full answer about any topic. So if we took some decision, or I don't know, within the project there is some issue, and like 2 years ago we decided that it is not an issue, it is a feature that we decided to go into. It helps us to manage this. And this is the second product that we are kind of releasing. It is in a beta test stage now, but yeah, like we start to get like small traction for this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really smart problem you're solving there, isn't it? Because people come and go in an organization, right? Projects come and go. The ability to be able to maintain the knowledge and the experience that's gained through doing those things, and being able to research it, be able to draw on it to like help in future projects and the organization is great, because it's valuable corporate memory that could otherwise just get lost, right? So it's, yeah, no, I can see that's a really I think that's going to be a very, very important thing that you're doing there. So that's great. So, yeah, so just tell me a little bit. Obviously, you've been going 8 years plus. How do you think about the type of skill sets that you had and you wanted at that first point in time versus how things have evolved now with AI, cloud, all those other sort of blockchain technologies that come across in the last number of years? Has your need for different skills changed, and are you looking for a variety of different sort of technology skill sets now?
Okay. So actually, I started the company being a developer, a full stack developer. So of course, I was learning some technical things, but it turns out that it could be learned within a context. So when there was a problem or there was a particular task, I could learn this on the go. So at some point, as I stopped focusing that much on the technology, I was much more into being a solution architect. So what are the patterns on the market? How given problems should be solved? So I know, let's say that if we build a kind of custom e-commerce, like there are hundreds of e-commerces on the market and how they handle, I know, some scaling problems or some specific flow, etc. So this could be learned on the go. So for many years, this was my main focus because that's something that we delivered to the clients. And at some point, I start to learn much more about sales and marketing. And like when we were, I would say around 10, 12 people, something like this, uh, this started to be much more important because startup projects come and go, and we didn't want to, scale up and down the team that much. So we had to start building a kind of pipeline of projects waiting for the developers. So this was the next stage, and actually something that I am still learning. I don't have any formal education within this area, so I am learning on the go again. And what now? Now I am learning AI. I am testing a lot around AI, building stuff, building some micro projects, learning from my developers because they actually are much better in this area than I am. This tool I mentioned, so they know it is also like purely on AI, based on AI. So again, I'm trying to keep up with what developers build, but it is not that easy. So yeah, a lot around here, a lot about automation, also still a lot about the cold outreach and outreach to the potential clients. We are trying still to stabilize our pipeline because the team have grown, and still this is, I would say, the main problem for the agencies like us, that we have to balance the amount of work that we can deliver with the amount of projects that are waiting for us. So still working on it. But yeah, like when it comes to the pure education recently, it is.
Yeah, I think that's a general theme that we're hearing from everyone, right? Is the hot topic of the day, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, give us a bit of a sense. Where do you want to take the company then? What is your sort of big vision for it?
sure. That would be great if at least one of the projects that we are starting would be a success, and part of the company could move into products development and more into like internal R&D that will be actually paid by the clients, because at the moment we are like investing from our own pocket. So that's one area we are focusing on. Second one, we still want to build things and build projects, but I assume the model will change a bit. There will be much more fixed price. There will be much more development with AI. We see more and more clients come to us not with just an idea, but with actual prototype we built with Lovable or some other platform, and ask us to how to scale it, what's the next step, etc. Definitely around this one, we will again release some service to like dedicated for this kind of problems. And hopefully we will move a bit more into more, how to say it, like more interesting projects, I would say, not just yet another startups, but we are also exploring the kind of R&D teams, researchers, companies, like kind of spin-outs from the universities that focus purely on the R&D and like very deep tech stuff. And we can help apply our experience coming from startups to commercialize this, to do everything around it, to actually convert it into product while they are focusing on the R&D. So these are kind of few areas that we are exploring definitely for this year. I assume it will last for the next 12 months or something around this.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like an exciting time. Sounds like you got lots of plans ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And no doubt more works. Yeah.
Mhm.
So let's talk about a bit about your clients then. So has there been a change in client behavior or client expectation over the number of years you've been working? So have those things changed at all?
So we have different types of clients in our company. We had a lot of just founders of startups that never built any software. So then we had to educate them like how the software is built, what is agile, what are actually iterations, what is test environment, what actually is a bug, because that's also a bit more interesting topic than we could think of. So yeah, we had at the very beginning when we had almost no portfolio, these were mainly the kind of clients that we had. With time, we also start getting a bit bigger clients. So either the founders that are building another project or the SME or a bit bigger SME that have development team in their company, but we are kind of supporting them or start over some side project or kind of R&D that they never had time for. So this is totally different cooperation because like they know how to build software. We just set up the collaboration rules and we just started. So this is second type of clients. And the new type of clients that come to us, and I don't yet know how to manage them properly, are this kind of founders that actually build something with AI and expect to continue with the same pace. So with the same tempo and the same kind of delivery velocity, which is not fully possible, I would say.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course, we are using AI within our day-to-day coding. Like the coding changed over last 2 years,
Mhm.
totally changed. And we support our developers with AI, but it is definitely it is not the same tempo as you can get with like starting from scratch to just building a prototype. Like this can be done in days, but let's be honest that before, I know, you start getting payments or gathering like real data, there is a lot of work to be done. And this is something that I'm learning how to explain this to the founders and manage the expectations because, of course, like custom software development is a bit more expensive than
Yeah.
no code or low code.
So just breaking that down a little bit then. So these founders come to you with an AI prototype. They built something that solves a problem, and then what are they asking of you then? Is it to make it more enterprise grade, so you have the right security profile, the right ability, like data storage, data controls, and all those type of things? Is that sort of what they're asking of
Yeah,
you?
that's totally correct. Definitely, we are taking care of the security because, like, out of the box, like AI can build something that is vulnerable. So we take care of that. We take care of scalability because a lot of times the code is built in the fastest way possible. And that's the goal at the very beginning. But when you are about to serve like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of users, like the rules change a bit. So we have to handle this. And also what a lot of founders miss is that when you build something with no code, you usually just host it within the platform. So like within Lovable or like and other, like all of them earn a lot on hosting, not that much on AI or on subscriptions. And when the application is growing and the traffic is growing, this cost of hosting can like be astronomical.
Yeah,
So at some point you have to move out from the service and just release it into any cloud or a private server or whatever, but you need to have kind of technical people to do it. So
yeah,
this is also something that we focus on.
yeah.
So different challenges. We don't yet have like full offering for this. We should have. We are working on it. So hopefully like next quarter we'll release another service like dedicated for especially this problem.
Well, I like the way you're thinking about it. It's an interesting conundrum, isn't it? Getting a prototype off the floor really quickly, which these tools are all democratized, but then getting them to an enterprise scale,
Mhm.
that is a different kettle of fish. So, so from your perspective, then, if we talk about sort of geopolitical, something a bit bigger, sort of the almost stuff that's out of our control that your is impacting you. Are there any sort of headwinds that you're experiencing? But then equally, are you seeing opportunities there as well at the same time from a broader political perspective, financial?
That's an interesting question. I'm thinking about this since COVID, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, and also since the war started in Ukraine,
Yeah.
because this also changed the market.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel the change since this last couple of months and the situation on the Iran.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, like we don't see any changes here, but I would say the market this year is way slower. Like we've got quite a lot of potential clients. We have quite a lot of open discussions, but not that many contracts signed. Clients want to think thoroughly about what they want to build, how they want to build it. I would say there is much more thinking around the investment
Sure.
before making it, not just jumping into like whatever we can build.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we've got quite a lot of discussions stopped after the estimation or sending over the offer because the client is now making decision. So I would say this change is something that we see.
Interesting. No, it's good to get that perspective. Interesting. Okay. So I always ask every person who attends a podcast this. So, what one piece of advice would you give your 18-year-old self that would have stood you in good stead in your journey thus far?
18 years old, okay? Let me think about that guy.
Think back to those good old days, mate.
Yeah. Um, I would say test everything that you have in mind because I know that during the university I spent days and nights building stuff just for the university to pass the exam or pass the laboratory or something, and yeah, like I spent a lot of hours on stuff that went into the bin.
Right. Okay.
If I put like a couple of hours of thinking to build something I'm interested in and that possibly can push my career forward.
Yeah.
Maybe right now I'll be a founder or owner of product and living in Miami, etc.
Well, it sounds like you're on that trajectory anyway, so I wouldn't worry about that.
I hope so. But yeah, it could be faster. Yeah,
Yeah. No worries.
but of course, at that stage I didn't know that.
Well, and yeah, well, what you described, how you're thinking about things, I think that's an inevitable outcome for you guys. So, yeah, it's really great to have you on the show. Really great to get your perspectives on what you're seeing in the market, how you're thinking about things. If people want to find out more about yourself and more about They.dev, where should they go and look?
Cool. So for They.dev, it is just They.dev. It is a domain of the company. And from there, I believe you will find me and my business partner and what we do. I am very active on LinkedIn at the moment. This is my main social media for sharing stuff around company. I think that's the main point.
Great. Awesome. Well, yeah, once again, thank you very much for your time. I think, yeah, there's exciting times ahead with They.dev. I think, yeah, as you grow, you can continue to acquire those customers that is going to, and build out your products that's going to have a big impact in the market. So it sounds like you're heading in the right direction. So well done. So good stuff.
I hope so.
Okay. Well, thank you also for listening in. If you're interested in more, subscribe to this channel and we'll be back next week with another episode. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthew.